The barrel of that gun couldn't have been more than a foot from my baby's face. I remember her breath soft and warm against my chest and the way time suddenly got sharp like the air itself was made of glass, and one wrong move would shatter it all. I didn't beg, I didn't flinch. I just whispered into the ring on my finger, Echo 0, go silent. To everyone else, it looked like I was talking to myself. But 5 blocks away in a police precinct that thought it was untouchable, lights flickered, servers froze, and a system I'd built in silence finally woke up. That morning had started so ordinary. I was walking out of Parker's pharmacy with a little paper bag in one hand and my daughter in the other. Well, not in my hands exactly. She was nestled against me in a sling, her tiny 2-month-old body tucked tight to my chest. Her name's Amara. She just drifted off pacifier slipping from her lips, face so peaceful it made you forget the world outside was anything but gentle. I was thinking about a laundry, thinking about her next bottle, maybe even about whether I had time for a nap myself. Nothing dramatic, just a dad trying to keep it together. Then came the screech. Tires on asphalt sharp enough to slice through the quiet street. A police cruiser swerved and stopped just 10 feet in front of me. My first thought wasn't fear. It was confusion. Why me? Why here? But when the door swung open and that officer stepped out, tall, pale, with sunglasses, too dark for the daylight hand, hovering near his gun like it was an extension of his arm, I knew exactly what this was. Stop right there, he barked. I did. Slowly, awkwardly, careful not to wake the baby. What's the issue, officer? You match the description of a robbery suspect. Black male, late 20s, gray hoodie, carrying something concealed. I looked down at myself, gray hoodie, 29, black. Check, check, check. And the so-called concealed item, I turned slightly, showing him the sling. This is my daughter. She's 2 months old. He didn't blink. She could be a prop. Put the kid down. Now, my blood went cold. I'm not putting my infant on the ground. His voice tightened, hand twitching near his Glock. I said down. Across the street, people started watching dog walkers, a kid on a bike, a clerk outside the laundromat. Everyone watching, no one stepping forward. Amara stirred, whimpered, and I swear the sound cut me deeper than any bullet could. I said it again, quieter this time. She's my daughter. I'm just trying to get home. But the officer only grew harder. You're resisting. And then he drew his weapon. The scream that followed wasn't mine. It was hers. My baby cried out raw and terrified, and in that moment, something inside me clicked. I tilted my head, spoke so low only the mic in my ring caught it. Echo 0. Go silent. The officer thought he held all the power, but he didn't know the sidewalk itself was wired. The lamppost above carrying a hidden feed, the precinct 5 blocks away, already crumbling under the weight of its own lies. He thought I was just another black man in a hoodie. He had no idea who I used to be. I wasn't always this man kneeling on the pavement with a baby strapped to my chest. A year ago, I worked at the Justice Department in D.C., Cyber Task Force Systems Integrity, the kind of job people barely knew existed. My life was numbers, code patterns. I hunted for data manipulation in law enforcement files, proof of bias trails of misconduct. It was quiet work until it wasn't. The file that broke me had a name, Julian Reed, my younger brother, a suspect, they said, white hoodie, alone at night. They shot him twice in the back. No weapon, no warning body cam footage, mysteriously corrupted. I filed complaints, demanded reviews. But within weeks, the file vanished. My brother's life disappeared into statistics. I called it murder. They called it a mistake. That was the day I realized the system didn't need fixing. It needed witnesses it couldn't erase. 3 weeks later, my wife bled out, giving birth to Amara, 2 funerals in the same shirt, in a promise to myself that I would never let them erase another name I loved. So I built something, Nexus, not a virus, not a weapon, a memory the system couldn't delete. I hid it in their updates, buried it behind their firewalls, coded it between feeding bottles and midnight cries. I wasn't waiting for revenge. I was waiting for a moment like this. On that cracked Georgia sidewalk when Officer Slater pulled his weapon and fired a warning shot near my daughter's foot, Nexus lit up. Every missing body cam file, every falsified report, every racial filter buried in predictive policing software began pouring into daylight. And all he saw was me, a man refusing to drop his child. They cuffed me, ripped her from my chest, handed her to a neighbor. I sat in that holding cell with sweat and dust still clinging to my hoodie, listening to her last scream echo in my ears. Two others sat across from me, one kid beaten bloody for carrying a backpack, one woman limping from the miscarriage she swore came after Slater slammed her against a car. Their silence was heavier than chains. Later, a young clerk slipped me a whisper, "You're not the first he's done this to, but you're the first who knew how to respond." Then she was gone. Moments later, another surprise, a Latina officer named Ruiz, stepped into my cell. No uniform, no weapon, just a flash drive in her hand. "Insurance leverage evidence? Take your pick," she said. Files of meetings between Slater's captain and a private contractor tweaking algorithms to target people who look like me. She couldn't sleep after hearing my baby scream, so she switched sides. Days later, I stood in a courtroom, charges stacked against me like bricks meant to bury me alive. But beside me was Angela Price, civil rights attorney with fire in her stride. She rolled the footage, body cam of me holding Amara Slater's gun drawn, the gunshot, the scream. Then she rolled Nexus files, doctored logs, backroom deals, proof of a system designed not to protect, but to control. Slater smirked on the stand. "Everyone knows how this city works," he said. "I'm just the part you finally decided to look at." That smirk cost him everything. The judge ordered a full review. I was released, and for the first time, the city had to look itself in the mirror. But power doesn't die quietly. A week later, smoke filled my home through shattered windows. They called it an accident. I called it a message. Instead of running, I went live. My face lit by a desk lamp, my daughter asleep behind me, I told the world, they're not afraid of riots. They're not afraid of protests. They're afraid of this, of you watching me, of ordinary folks putting the patterns together. The system isn't broken, it was built this way. That video spread like wildfire. Activists clipped it, celebrities shared it, teachers printed it for classrooms. Across the country, people held signs with my words. They're not afraid of truth, they're afraid of the ones who dare to speak it. Within weeks, contractors lost their deals, cops lost their badges, and Congress passed laws outlawing unregulated surveillance software. And me, I didn't take a podium, I took a classroom. Now I stand in front of students, chalk on my hands, teaching them that truth is code you can't delete. Outside my window, Amara laughs on a playground, older now, fearless, in a way I never got to be at her age. But here's the thing. The story didn't end with me. It never does. Systems don't collapse, they retaliate. For every file exposed, there's another being buried. For every cop caught, another waiting in the shadows. And I know someone listening right now has lived their own version of this, maybe not with guns or data, but with the quiet violence of being dismissed, disbelieved, or erased. So tell me, what do you think? Was justice served, or did they just patch a hole in a ship that's still sinking? Have you seen moments when truth was twisted for optics over reality? Drop it in the comments. Share what you've witnessed, what you've carried. Because one voice may shake a sidewalk, but 1,000 voices, they can shake the whole damn country.